Welcome back to the channel. We have a fun little project today. So I bought this sled last year. It's 2011 Polaris Assault Switchback. I absolutely love it, but there's one thing I hate. It's this big bulky seat right here. So the Polaris sleds since 2011, the front end really hasn't changed that much. It's that same aggressive style with the louvers, but this seat is what really gives away its age. So for that reason, I picked up this one. So it's from a Polaris Pro S 2018. They use the same seats on the Axys, the newer Assaults, a bunch of different sleds. It's not going to bolt right up one for one. So if you were planning for an easy swap, that's not the case. There will be a little bit of fabrication. So if you're not willing to whip out your grinder and your welder, this might not be the project for you. Honestly, it's not that hard. You could probably get it done in 3-4 beers, depending on your fabrication skills. And also, there's probably 100 different ways to do this. I'll show you guys how I did mine, and hopefully it can help you guys out if this is something you want to do. Another really good advantage to going with this style seat, if you ride 2-up like I do a lot of the time, I use a 2-up setup like this. And because of the big hump on the back of the seat, this is as far forward as I can go. I would like to be about 2 inches forward just to bring the weight a little bit more towards the front so I can have more weight on the skis, less weight hanging off the back. And honestly, because there's so much room now, I could look for something a little bit less bulky, something smaller. So I'll keep an eye out for that. For now, all I'll do is move this probably 2 inches forward, and I'll be good to go. So without further ado, let me show you how I swapped over the seat. So obviously the first thing you'll need to do is take off your stock seat. I already took some of the bolts out of this. I don't need to explain how to do this part. It's pretty easy. Just take all the bolts out. Leave the bolts in the slots. You're going to be reusing them. And here's the first thing you're going to need to purchase. So this is from a 2018 RMK. And the main difference is it's quite a bit taller. And you're going to need that because if you look at how this seat is going to sit in the end, there's a solid gap there, okay? So we need those few extra inches because we all know a couple inches makes a big difference. See how this one fits perfectly? So that's step one, get one of these. You can find a part out or buy it new. There's some on Amazon, leave that up to you. For the front, take off this front mount bracket. You're not gonna need it, but we will use it to fabricate our template for the new bracket. So if you compare the two seats, they're not made the same. So these ones are made to slide in like this. However, these ones are made for something like this. A little kind of cylinder with a washer on top, and it's made to slide in like that. If you look at a newer Axys or Pro S or something like that, I'll show the part number and a picture of the gas tank, but essentially this piece slides in. So we can't use this. We need to fabricate something where we can mount this. And if you look at your gas tank, there's no way to do this right now. It's all plastic. You don't want to be drilling into that. So we'll need to build a metal bracket that will use the original mounting points, but that will have this secured right here so we can slide the seat in the way it's supposed to go. And let me show you what I decided to do. So this is what I came up with, this funky looking contraption. And let me explain why I chose this method. Like I said, lots of ways to do this, but this is how I did it. So if you look at the original mounting bracket, it's kind of recessed in there. So the first thing I did is I took the original bracket, traced it onto a piece of metal like this, and then created this little spacer. Very simple little thing. And I put that here, and now I'm flush with the top end of the plastic here. Next step, I traced this bracket onto a bigger piece of metal and cut kind of a big rectangle of this shape, because I know I need a flat surface for the new seat to slide up on, and I need somewhere for this new little, I don't even know what you want to call this, but you need somewhere for this to mount onto. Essentially, if you look at the gas tank on the Axys or the newer Assault, whatever, they're at more of an angle and the seat kind of like slides up it like that. So that's why if you look at this bracket here, it has some angle to it. So essentially this is just a big piece of angle iron that I cut and welded together. I'll show you a couple clips of how I did that. And then essentially I just took some measurements, I drilled and tapped this hole. So now I can screw this piece in like that. And then on the back, I just drilled a few holes for weight savings. This thing's pretty heavy. I'll probably cut out some more weight. We have a CNC plasma table, but unfortunately it's not set up right now. So this would have been a perfect project for that. But now I went back to the old ways of lots of grinding, sawzall, and sanding, but it all worked out really good. So in the end, this is going to mount right here. The stock bolts that hold the seat are a little bit too short, so I got some with the same thread, but a little bit longer. That's these guys right here. So that's the stock one, that's the new one. And I'm just going to put a little bit of Loctite on here. With all the vibration that comes off these machines, we don't want anything getting loose. The paint is still a little bit tacky on that. I just threw some primer on there for now. I'll make it a little bit nicer in the off season. But the trail's open tomorrow, and our season is so short here in Ottawa. We get about a month and a half of riding, so I want to make the most of it. That's why I'm kind of rushing to get this done. You'll see on the back too, I'm kind of cutting corners, but it'll be good enough for this season. Okay, so I drilled a bigger hole into the top plate just so that I can recess these bolts all the way in and they won't interfere with the seat. All right, we're in. Next, we're going to take this thing here. So if you buy the OEM one, you can get the bolt and this little spacer that comes with it. That would be perfect. If not, you can use a little piece of pipe and a washer. Like, there's so many ways to do this. Doesn't really matter how you do it, but just make sure you tap some threads into your plate and mount it in. Don't forget your Loctite on this one either. Okay. Front part is done. It's that easy. So obviously the fabrication takes a bit of time. It's really not that difficult. Now let's talk about the back. So on the older seat, essentially you have these bolts in the seat and they slide in there, and then you just bolt them like that. With the new one, it's a little bit different. So it looks like this, and then this bracket goes here, and then on the Axys you would bolt it from here and here onto the gas tank. We don't have that option now. We need to find a way to mount this like this. So it does come with a bolt hole right there. So for now, what I've done is drill the third hole in the middle here, and then I'm going to leave this in here because these little wings add a little bit of support. I bent this just so that it can fit, and then I'm going to bolt it down like that. During the off season, when I have a little bit more time, what I'm going to do just to make it more solid is take some of the staples off of here, grind down this rivet, and take out this. It's like the two screws are on a bracket essentially. I'm going to pull it out, do the same thing on this one, take some staples out, drill these two rivets, and then these are going to go where the rivets go, and then I'm going to have the two solid mounting points on this one. And then I have an air staple gun that I'm going to use to restaple the seat. But for now, I did try it with just the one bolt, and it's actually pretty solid. So I'm not too concerned. Okay, so just take the bracket and the one bolt that comes with the seat. Screw it in there. Make sure you're nice and centered. Snug it up. And originally this bracket, I had like a full rectangle here, but then I noticed that on the seat, this plastic stops at this width. So I just cut it at the same width just to knock some of the weight off of this thing. It's pretty heavy. So now we're ready to slide this guy in. All right, just so you can see how that all works. You're just gonna need to push down and up like that. Wiggle it, and it's in. Super solid in there, doesn't move at all. And then on the back, all we're gonna need to do is slide these bolts forward, pop them in the hole, and tighten those down. So we'll do that next. Now, before we bolt these in, we need to talk about one thing, and I tested this out earlier. So if you look at an Axys gas tank, it kind of tilts back up and provides support underneath here. As you can see now, we have a big gap. And when you're sitting on it, now obviously it's not bolted in, so you can see everything flexing. Once this is bolted in, there's really not that much flex in the plastic here, but I did want to add a little bit more support, and I'll build something much nicer in the future. I'm thinking of building a small storage or something, fabricate some type of support. But for this season, because I'm in a bit of a time crunch, what I've done is essentially cut 2 pieces of wood that will fit right in here. So this first one will go right here. Second one will go right there. So this is a 2x3. This looks like about a 1x3. I'm just gonna get some 2-sided mounting tape. I use alien tape. I find it works really well, so I'll put 2 strips of that. It'll add a bit of a cushioning and then secure this down. Same with this one. And yes, I know it's a redneck setup, but when you're looking at it from the side, you won't see that under there. And also, since I have my 2-up seat on there a lot of the time, you can't even see underneath there. So I'm gonna go get some tape and secure those in place. So this is the stuff I like to use, alien tape. It's held up really good on my truck. It's holding on some moldings and some trim pieces. So I'm gonna use the same thing here. Just cut a couple strips and put them on. Okay, I'm gonna stick these guys on. Solid. Same with this guy. Okay, now slide this guy in for the last time. Make sure you push down on the front so that it slides up that new bracket you made. And then line up your bolts on the back here. Now you'll be able to push this bracket all the way to your seat, which gains you a bunch of room in the back if you wanted to put fuel cells, storage, whatever it may be. You have more room for that now, which is cool. Now just bolt these down. There we go. She's all done. As you can see now, there's no more plate at all underneath there. Everything is super solid, no movement side to side. Does it fit perfectly like it does on an Axys? No. But does it look a million times better than the old one? I would say so. So that's it. Pretty fun little project. Really changes the look of the sled. Once I add the neon yellow decals elsewhere, it'll really tie in the seat, and especially when I'm riding it, because my suit actually has black, gray, and yellow, just like the seat. So it's gonna look really nice. If you're curious about this thing right here, this is a cup holder that a subscriber made for us with our logo put in there. It's 3D printed, essentially. Can goes like that. So if you're looking for a little cold snack while you're riding, you can put it right there. Don't drink and drive. Thanks guys, this was a fun one. If you have any questions, you need any measurements, anything, just leave it down in the comments. I'll try to help you guys out. See ya. I just realized I didn't show you guys the difference from before and after. So now, look at all the space we have around here. So I can bring this forward, I can even bring it down if I wanted to, or like I said, I could look for something entirely different that's less bulky and doesn't take up as much room. So, just another little advantage of switching to this style seat. Okay, bye for real now. See ya.